People are talking. Have you heard the news about the princess? I heard she has been holed up in her bedroom for a week. I heard that the sex slaves died this time as well. Goodness, what a mess. What on earth is happening inside the princess's bedroom? Today she is really beautiful, curiosity and admiration, and as expected, the outfit is incredibly vulgar. I heard she can't get through a single night without alcohol and men. They say there is no greater temptress than a princess playing pretend. A deep layer of disdain lies beneath. Raha speaks, greeting his imperial majesty. The emperor says, "You should say my name." How stiff. Now that I notice, you were wearing that necklace I gave you. How was your week? The sex slaves. Did they satisfy you? Raha replies, "Yes, I barely noticed the night passing by." The emperor states, "You never fail to disappoint me, my princess. You would never understand how much I truly cherish you." I mean, Raha replies, "Who else would know that if not me?" The emperor continues, "Yes, now that I think about it, that is true. Even if the entire empire does not know, at least you should know, since you have answered correctly. Shall I grant your wish? I heard there has been an experiment targeting me in the Holy Kingdom. While I personally go and eliminate them, you can comfortably watch from the side. And I will bring the one you like the most to your bed from there. That must be your wish, my lovely twin." Raha replies, "Yes, I am already looking forward to it." She remembers when she said, "Do you remember the day when the sky blessed the empire with stars? The successor's eye shall be bestowed upon the one who will become the emperor of the empire. The one who inherited the successor's eye was me." Raha continued her thoughts, "Blessed with the world's only divine favor, the Delo Empire, possessing the blue eyes, a unique symbol bestowed solely upon the emperor of the empire. This not only safeguarded the life of the successor, but also ensured the protection of the entire empire through them. It was an absolute power. Although the crown prince never received the blue eyes, the former emperor, against everyone's expectations, placed him on the throne. Karzan, now a half-emperor, began to solidify his power through slaughter and invasions. Meanwhile, the victims, mercilessly trampled by the tyrant, became experimental weapons, designed to eventually bring Karzan down after a long struggle against him. Next scene. The emperor speaks, "I have not even killed anyone yet, and here is the esteemed high priest trembling like this. What does that make me look like? Didn't you build a whole lab just to kill me, and to think I destroyed innocent neighboring kingdoms, unaware that such atrocities were happening right here in the holy nation? My heart aches deeply right now. How can you conduct experiments on humans without shame before God? Since I can't dare to behead the holy high priests, perhaps I will have those test subjects dragged by horses all the way to the imperial palace. I will throw their torn limbs into a boiling pot and serve them as the priest's feast." The high priest said, "Your Majesty, please show mercy." The emperor tells him, "Mercy, you say? Then let's do this. My beautiful twin is here with me, and I will pick out some of the better test subjects and offer them to her for amusement. I will invite you to the palace, where you can personally witness the glorious sight of your cherished experiments being presented. We wouldn't want to anger the gods, so shouldn't we make peace with each other? But where is Raha?" On the other hand, Raha thought, "It would be nice if at least someone good escaped, even if it is not me. I heard something on the way to the holy nations. Royals and nobles from fallen nations, crushed by Karzan, volunteered to become test subjects for rent. In the end, they were crushed yet again, and now they too will likely become one of my playthings. But if, by any chance, this should be a solution," she said, "don't spit it out." Suddenly, the emperor came and asked, "What are you doing here?" The emperor continued, "Is there a problem?" I asked, "What are you doing there?" Raha replied, "It's been a while since I visited the holy nation, so I've been looking around the place. Do you remember this? I liked this tree when I was younger. I told you I wanted to take it to the empire, but I couldn't reach it back then." The emperor replied, "That's true. I thought you had disappeared and almost cut off all the heads of the high priests." Raha asked, "Really? There's no way. I wouldn't disappear." The emperor spoke, "That's right. You wouldn't dare to steal those eyes and disappear. Your existence protects the empire and makes me untouchable. I smell blood. Maybe it's because I stepped in a puddle of blood earlier. All 16 test subjects being held alive as hostages, including that guy over there, will be given to you as sex slaves." Next scene. The high priest asked, "Your Majesty, what is that?" The emperor replied, "The process of branding magic is a little painful. As Raha is the only lady who received the blue eyes, it would be dangerous if some rebellious element dared to harbor evil thoughts. Even if their lives can be saved because of the successor's eyes, that doesn't mean they can avoid suffering. I am branding a spell on them so that they will not cause any harm." The high priest asked, "Will they still live after you engrave something like that on them?" The emperor told him, "Of course. So far, there have been about 100 slaves who survived after branding magic." And went into Raha's bedroom, although there wasn't a single one who lasted longer than a week. As long as he's lucky, he will live. Now let's have a toast in reconciliation, for the sake of our peace. After some time, Raha remembered. The emperor said, "The test subjects of the holy nation are different from those of the other defeated nations. I can't bring anyone else but this one into the bedroom, and this one looks like he will be dead soon. Raha is the same, slowly fading breath and pale-looking skin. I thought he would still live. I don't want to see any more of that kind of people, but still. I envy you all for being able to leave this place, even if by death." Suddenly, that sex slave grabbed her and asked, "Why did you feed me blood?" Raha replied, "The ninjutsu engraved on your body. Do you realize it's controlling your power from the place closest to your heart? That is why I was curious. I heard that the blood of royalty is effective at neutralizing the energy of the ninjutsu, so I wondered if it was really true. You must know as well, the sex slaves brought here are dying because they can't withstand the ninjutsu." The slave asked, "If you let me feed on your blood to save me, what is your afterward? Do you desire something from me?" Raha replied, "I have no goals, and I desire nothing." The slave asked, "Nothing at all?" Raha replied, "Yes, I was just tired of watching the slaves die in front of me, so I thought I would try out something I once heard about. What could I possibly want from someone like you? Your complexion is not bad for an ornamental decoration. Can you kill me right now?" As expected, you can't do it. Seeing that you can't exert a certain level of power, it seems you are still under the influence of ninjutsu. I don't know when your life will come to an end, but while you are in the harem, you are only a slave who obeys their master's words. Raha thought, I can clearly feel it from that gaze, the blatant anger and hatred directed towards the twins, along with that, a resignation. He has no choice but to accept at this moment. She said, "Attend the night duties so that Karzan will be pleased. Surely you don't expect me to guide you through every single step, do you?" Suddenly, the slave spoke, "Yes, of course." Then they started kissing. The slave then began his work. He also said, "Just to let you know in advance, I won't finish anything myself until your command is given." How did the other sex slaves satisfy you? The slave thought, pretending not to be affected, but the tension is clear, reacting sensitively to even the slightest touch. Strange, wasn't she supposed to be the most notorious princess in the empire, but this reaction? He asked, "Should I stop? You look like you can't take it anymore." Raha replied, "No, finish it to the end. Don't even think about stopping until I give the order." The slave spoke, "Then it's time for the real action." Raha thought, "Oh no, this is something else. It feels like my entire body is being pierced through. My mind is going blank. It's almost frightening." After some time, Raha had literally fainted. The slave thought, were all those dirty rumors about the princess really false? Raha was seeing a dream, where she asked, "Is no one here? I want to go back to the palace." Suddenly, her mother spoke, "You must be punished. The sin of taking Karzan's eyes. You must atone for it." Raha replied, "I was wrong. Please forgive me, mother, I will do anything. Just please." Suddenly, the slave hugged her. She thought, who? The next moment, Raha woke up and thought, has a dream ever ended like this before? So, we really did spend the night together. It felt like I was under some kind of spell. She asked, "When did you wake up?" The slave replied, "Can I finally have a proper meal?" Raha replied, "What do you mean? Surely, if what I did wrong wasn't enough." The slave replied, "I'm talking about food." Raha told him, "It's almost noon, so I thought you might just skip it." The slave said, "With such an irregular lifestyle, it's no wonder your body is this thin." Raha thought, how arrogant, it seems like this man is accustomed to a regular lifestyle. Come to think of it, earlier this morning. The slave asked, "Are you not getting up?" Raha replied, "No, I will sleep more." The slave asked, "Why don't you eat something before going back to sleep?" Raha told him, "Stop bothering me and go back to bed." Now back in the present time, Raha spoke, "Let's go eat breakfast." After that, she said, "Since there's no one to serve the meal, you'll have to eat on your own." She thought, Considering the basic dining etiquette and those dark marks on his body, was he once a knight who protected the nobility? Raha asked, "Would you like some champagne?" The slave replied, "No, it's fine." Raha continued, "I don't know how you ended up here, but you really have terrible luck, since you were captured as my slave." The slave commented, "If I had really been unlucky, I would have already died before coming here." Raha spoke, "That is true. Like the other test subjects, so, how does it feel watching your companions get slaughtered right in front of you?" The slave asked, "Are you intentionally speaking like that? You act like you're itching to see me get mad." Raha asked, "So you're not going to be angry?" The slave replied, "Because you're not someone I want to be angry at." Raha thought, "How strange, there are many people who speak rational words in the world, yet they always end up unconsciously revealing their instincts." Now that I look closely, his eyes are a bluish gray. It's a color that seems to be a mix of the successor's eye and the eyes of royalty. Raha told him, "From now on, don't walk with your head held high in front of the emperor. He might get so angry that he could pluck your eyes out, and don't speak to me casually." She thought, "No, it's amusing that this lowly sex slave treats me as an equal to the noble emperor." Then she said, "Don't speak formally to anyone except me and the emperor. When it's just us, it doesn't matter. Address me however you want." Raha thought, "Should I call such a submissive reaction unexpected? Well, given how arrogant he was last night, I guess I can see why he's acting like this. To be honest, it was ridiculous. For a moment, I almost felt like I had actually knelt down." Raha asked, "What is your name? Is the number assigned to us test subjects your name?" The slave replied, "Seed." Raha thought, "It's probably just a fake name he made up anyway." Raha spoke, "Usually, when a sex slave comes in, it's customary for them to stay hidden in this palace for a week, so hang in there, Seed. I'm curious to see how Karzan will react." Next scene. The emperor spoke, "You seem livelier than usual today. Did I interrupt your time with the sex slave?" The emperor continued, "You must be quite displeased to be dragged here with only 2 days' notice." Raha replied, "No, of course not. You don't have a fiancé yet. It is only natural that I take on such duties until then." The emperor told her, "You are quite considerate, my twin." Raha thought, "That's because you like words like these, things like putting me in the vacant seat of your betrothed." Then she said, "I will be back after having a word with the guests." The emperor replied, "You can talk as much as you would like, sister." After that, Raha spoke, "Hello, high priest, would you care for some wine, since it is a welcome banquet for the high priest? I brought out the finest wine we have in the imperial palace." The priest replied, "I do not partake in wine during Isaac's time." Raha said, "Bring out some tea instead. To be honest, I am also more of a tea person myself. If it is all right with you, could you have a conversation with me?" The spiritual leader of the continent, the holy nation, the neutral zone, independent but peaceful, was like a thorn in the eye of the former emperor of the Delo Empire. However, the first thing he did after he rose to the throne was rebuild his palace, rising above the holy nation, more sacred and more noble, like a picture of the realm of God. But it was merely a display of grandeur, as it was clear the existence of the high priest was a domain even the emperor could not touch. Next scene. Raha spoke, "Number 192 is alive and well. He is rather too healthy and seems to want to eat me up sometimes." She thought, his eyes are actually filled with worry and concern. I think I know now, that Seed is not just a test subject picked up from somewhere. Raha continued, "I don't know what your circumstances are, but it will be a big issue if you cannot control your expression. I've been thinking, why did it have to be the holy nation? Why would those who worship God want to create a murder weapon? Did you deliberately send these test subjects to our empire? No matter how wild Karzan gets, the only nation he cannot completely destroy is the holy nation, and if the experiment is related to my eyes, whatever it is, I thought physical contact would be the best method. So if I am right, your behavior right now is quite inappropriate, since Karzan could be watching you from anywhere. Dear, you should be more careful. I am telling you to be more cautious from now on, if you truly wish to protect your precious test subject." After some time, Raha thought, "I am so tired. Well, I should be grateful that it was sent before midnight. I wonder if Seed is still asleep." Then she asked, "Your hair?" Seed replied, "It annoyed me, so I cut it." After that, Raha thought, "It's just a haircut, but it feels so unfamiliar. Did he use the dagger from the drawer?" She said, "It doesn't seem like it's your first time assisting with a boat. You look pretty comfortable with it." Seed replied, I've done it a few times before. Raha told him, come inside if you're done with your tasks. What kind of servant dares to just stand there and gawk at their master's bare body? Seed came in and asked, your legs seem quite stiff. Raha replied, I was standing for a long time, and it's cold. Seed asked, why were you dressed so lightly? Raha told him, that's my combat uniform. Seed asked again, and those heavy earrings? Raha replied, those are. I guess I could call them shackles of sorts, she said. I met with the high priest at the banquet today. Didn't you run into them often during the experiments? Seed replied, not really. Raha continued, well, they're rather important people. It seems Karzan is also making an effort to ensure their return safely, but with the snowstorm, who knows if they'll make it back on time. I don't like winter. Every time this season comes around, it's as if only bad things happen to me. Like they've been waiting for it. She thought, poor princess, no adult around to show her any pity. Seed spoke, I don't know what you've been through, but you shouldn't let yourself be bound by the past. A nightmare is just a nightmare. It can't devour your reality. Raha told him, are you just going to keep watching? The boring talk is over, so move and lose your part now. Then they started making love. Things got heated very quickly. After some time, Raha thought, it really feels like I could sleep like this forever. Next thing, a lord spoke, seeing as you're only out by this time, you and your slave must have had a good night. His Majesty sent this for today's banquet. Raha replied, then return the necklace I gave you last time. The lord replied, that was also a gift from His Majesty. Wouldn't it be better to keep it with you? Raha stated, it is not a gift, it was simply lent to me. Shouldn't he give it to his empress instead? A maid told her, princess, we need to go to the dressing room. Raha thought, anyone can tell he's just the emperor's dog. For some reason, his face gives me a bad feeling, especially those eyes that look like they could cross the line and encroach at any moment. After that, the maid said, Your Highness, when you tried on the dress, this part, suddenly, the emperor came and asked, your preparation is taking longer than usual. Raha replied, I'm sorry, I will lead you to the living room. The emperor told her, there's no need. I will wait here, so you can get ready. Raha replied, okay. She thought, it's a good thing the marks on my body are gone. She said, hurry up with the preparation. Raha thought, he looks uneasy. I wonder which fool messed with Karzan this time. Seeing how he stormed all the way here, they must have struck a nerve. Then she felt the pain. The emperor asked, what was that sound? Raha replied, it's just, she tightened up suddenly, and it felt suffocating. The emperor said, I see, if I squeeze too tight, that's the kind of sound you make. Raha replied, the banquet is about to start soon. Is it really okay to be late? You're not expecting me to go out like this, are you? The emperor commented, of course not. Your role, as always, is to be by my side, looking perfect. On that note, are you planning to approach the high priest again today? Raha asked, what are you talking about? The emperor continued, it seemed like the two of you had a rather close conversation yesterday. When it comes to anything about you, you know how I get. Raha replied, yes, I understand. After some time, the nobles started chatting. The princess is as beautiful as ever today. How does she manage to show up like this at every banquet? One of them said, that reminds me, isn't His Majesty hosting a banquet soon to find a fiancé? I'm worried there won't be any room for anyone else, considering how close the two of them are. Another one spoke, that's true. All of His Majesty's half-siblings were either sold off or slaughtered, but the twin princess is the only one he treasures so deeply. How much favor His Majesty bestows upon her. It seems that even His Majesty is just a man, rendered powerless by her beauty. Raha asked, but why aren't any of you drinking? It looks like your glasses are only filled with water. They replied, the atmosphere is pleasant enough to enjoy without it, don't you think? Raha thought, lies, they're probably all too scared to drink, afraid of falling out of favor with Karzan. Today, he's managing to keep his expression under control pretty well. I was worried he might accidentally blurt everything out to Karzan without realizing it. A lady came and spoke, it's been a while, princess. Raha asked, is today the third Wednesday of winter? The lady replied, it is the death anniversary of Countess Bourbon. Raha said, it must be difficult having to bring this each time. The lady replied, difficult, of course not, this much is nothing, as it was part of my sister's will. Wouldn't you want to fulfill your former nanny's will as well? Raha told her, of course. since she would still be alive if it were not for me. The lady spoke, I shall take my leave now, Your Highness, you look as beautiful as a doll today as well. On the other hand, Seed remembered Raha telling him, do not go to the west wing hallway connected to the bedroom. You may use the door to the back garden or the east wing hallway, but you must never open the door to the west wing, or you will definitely regret it. Then he heard a knight's voice, there's blood leaking out. Let's clean it up immediately, since Her Highness is currently at the banquet. After that, Raha thought, it bothers me. The awful scent of flowers, the nobles who laugh it up like fools, and even me, who cannot do anything. Why in the world am I still alive? Seed asked, are those corpses? They are all dead. Why are you keeping them here? The knight replied, we have to store them there before they rot. Seed asked, why? The knight told him, it's an imperial order, since branding magic is quite powerful, the bodies of the slaves do not rot immediately after death. She thought, he seems quite arrogant for a sex slave of the princess. Then the knight continued, we clean them up before they. Raha came in. Then she thought, Karzan wanted me to sit here and watch, their skin turning an odd pallid shade, their breaths slowly fading. Having abandoned all hope, and the curses they muttered with their last strength as they reached their end. The emperor said, why do you look so miserable, my twin, seem you unable to ignore that damned imperial order, like a caught bird? Unable to do anything, do you wish to kill me, even like this, you are still so lovable? Raha thought, no, this is all. Seed asked, are you going to keep doing this? Raha shouted, don't act so arrogant when you are nothing but a slave. Raha thought, I'm not in my right mind, why did I happen to remember that conversation? So annoying. Then she said, don't stand above my eye level, number 192, and don't speak so casually. Seed asked, do you wish to sleep here, Your Highness? Raha replied, yes, I want to sleep here, so mind your business. Seed tried to comfort her. Raha asked, who the hell are you to pity me? She thought, even though I had already hinted for him to leave at once, he still dared to ignore it, even though he clearly saw it. Seed asked, don't you want to leave this place? Raha thought, if it were the old me, just hearing this would have made my heart flutter, because I would have gained hope, the hope that receiving help from someone was possible. The next moment, she slapped him. Then she said, you have grown disrespectful because I've let things slide several times before. Have you forgotten that your role is to be my sex slave, here to satisfy me at my will? You are a slave, so act like one. Seed asked, are you not going to reply? Raha also asked, is there any point in doing that? Seed started making love and said, if you want to keep ignoring it. Then things started getting heated. Raha told him, this is too uncomfortable, lying down won't make it any better. Seed spoke, it is my duty to make you feel better. Raha told him, make me love like, make sure I can't think of anything else. After making so much love, Raha thought, I thought he would kiss me at the end. Strangely enough, I didn't hate that thought. The sense of meeting each other's bodies, and following our instincts like beasts, and so, a week went by. For some reason I didn't quite understand, Karzan stopped calling me to any banquets, and I never set foot outside the inner palace. Even after hearing that the high priest had left, as if we had made a promise to protect this current peace, we became used to sleeping together, washing up together, and even eating together, although it was ridiculous that I had formed a familiar routine with the only living and breathing sex slave by my side. Next scene. Seed was reading a story while Raha spoke. I heard something like this during the tea party I attended back then. A young lady took in a horse of good pedigree, and was quite pleased when she managed to tame it. I didn't understand what she meant back then, but I think I kind of understand now. Seed asked, do you think I'm like a stallion now? Raha replied, yes, the most fun type to tame. I'll be away for the time being, so I'll make sure there's something around to keep you from getting bored. The banquet to choose Karzan's betrothed will soon begin. He has to select a young lady of high noble blood there, so that he can have as much fun as I do. Scene change. Raha asked, I couldn't hear you over the noise, what did you just say? The noble lady replied, it was nothing serious, these days I've been at the princess's house, I've seen a lot of beautiful slaves around her. Unlike the other slaves, he has survived longer than a week, I wonder how amazing, he must be to be kept under wraps without being seen. Raha thought, it's so obvious what her intentions are, I heard she is the queen of Trusan, which is near the holy nation. She brought her daughter here as a prospective bride, and my existence must be a bother to her. Of course, it's none of my business who Tarzan marries as his empress, but do I have to ignore it when she's trying to pick a fight in my presence? Then she said, I didn't know you were this interested in my slave. If you want, I could invite you to my inner palace tonight. However, aside from the emperor and maid servants, only slaves can enter the inner palace. The noble lady asked, Are you trying to say you want to make me your slave? Raha replied, Of course not, but maybe the princess could. The noble lady told her, Your humor is quite out of order. The next moment, the emperor came in, and Raha spoke, I have a request to ask of you. Could you grant me a female slave as well? The emperor replied, All right, I will give you one, no matter who it is. Raha spoke, I don't have anyone in mind right now. The emperor replied, Then let me know whenever someone catches your eye. After that, Raha said, Don't look so disappointed, thanks to me, you've avoided hell. Sometime later, the emperor said, You must have gone through a lot to prepare this banquet. Raha replied, I had to pay special attention to it. After all, it is none other than an avenue to select your betrothed. The emperor asked, I heard you saw the attendance list. Did you see any good young ladies there? Raha replied, What do you think of them? The emperor said, I'm not sure. I thought there wasn't a face similar to yours, my twin. It would be a little better if the ladies of the empire wore blue veils. If you hid yourself, it would be difficult to find you. Raha commented, I have no plans to hide. The emperor stated, That's right, but there is such a thing as, just in case. Lady Jamila came and said, You look amazing today as well. Raha replied, Thank you. After that, a lord asked, Are you leaving already? Raha replied, Wouldn't it be inappropriate for me to linger at a banquet meant to find a fiancé for my twin? The lord continued, Are you not aware that His Majesty suffers from depression on days like these? Raha commented, Really, then can you look after him well? The lord said, Wouldn't you be better at taking care of him than I would? Just holding his hand would make him feel better. Raha asked, Then should I go and change my clothes? The lord replied, What a fine idea. His Majesty would like a dress that shows some skin. After all, you have such fine and smooth skin. Raha asked, I'm sure you would be happy if I grabbed onto something else of His Majesty's. The lord replied, Yes, His Majesty. Suddenly, Seed came and asked, Weren't you going to the inner palace? Raha replied, Yes, I want to hurry up and lie down. To be honest, my body has been quite needy since earlier. Then she said, Make sure to give His Majesty an excuse, so that His Majesty's sadness does not become yours as well. On the other hand, Lady Jamila spoke, Thanks to Her Highness, who prepared all of this, it looks like everyone was able to enjoy the banquet. The emperor told her, By the way, the dress looks quite good on you. Lady Jamila replied, Thank you, Your Majesty. It looks like I have taken too much of your time. I shall take my leave now. The emperor thought, She seems to know the right time to appear and leave. Her good sense of tact is just like. Then he asked, Where is Raha? The servant replied, It looks like Her Highness has returned to the inner palace. I saw her leave with the lord. The emperor stated, I'm going to the inner palace. If she intends to openly hide from me, then I will gladly go and find her. After that, Seed asked, Have you been treated like that until now? Raha asked, What way? I'm sure you're not asking because you don't know. Raha thought, If I deny it now, would you make the same resigned expression you did back then? She replied, You're right. The Lord Chamberlain is one of the people who drops the Emperor's jewelry over my naked body, hoping his touch will reach me. He wants me to be the most beautiful doll in this empire. How is that? Was that a satisfying answer for you? Let's end this boring conversation, and kiss me. I was wondering if you found me dirty. You've been avoiding kissing me since the first time we slept together. Seed asked, What I wanted to ask you, having sex with a sex slave you unwillingly accepted must not have been a pleasant experience for you. Besides, seeing your reaction. Raha thought, Did he notice it was my first time? Well, I didn't try so hard to hide it. Then she said, How about this? Was this also a satisfying answer to your question? Then they started their work. Raha thought, When our lips touch and we swallow each other's heat, my mind blurs as if my entire body is melting. It's like I'm drowning in intoxication, just like one of those days in the past when I lived steeped in a hazy sensation. But unlike that, it doesn't feel unpleasant at all. I wonder what kind of person you are, mindlessly throwing away your light with a lofty face, and even though you resent this empire, you never take out that anger on me. The emperor came. The maid said, "Your Majesty, the bedroom is currently." Suddenly, the emperor entered the room and said, "I was looking all over the place for you, but here you are." The next moment, Seed came and paid his respects. The emperor thought, "A slave who is still alive. There is still a living slave, and one with quite a decent face." Then he asked, "But why are you over there, Lord?" The Lord replied, "Your Highness, I have not done anything." The emperor asked, "Was he bothering you?" Then he thought, "Why is she making that face? Did she put that slave thing in her mouth? If she did that with her mouth until, she is practically giving him permission to do whatever he wants." Raha asked, "Did you hear me? I told you the Lord was peeking in on me during my coitus. He saw everything. I am so humiliated that I want to kill myself. But what do I do since I can't commit suicide? Did you tell him to peek at me?" The emperor replied, "Of course not. What do you want me to do?" Raha replied, "Deal with him as you please." The emperor stated, "As you, Lord, were peeking at the direct heir princess during her coitus, even if you were the duke, I have no choice but to behead you immediately." The Lord shouted, "Wait, I would never dare to bring shame upon the name of the princess." But the next moment, he was dead. The emperor said, "I am quite rusty, as it has been a while since I wielded my sword, since I have taken care of the Lord. Who is that punk?" Raha replied, "My sex slave, he did not die. You must have been a test subject of the holy nation." The emperor asked, "Are there any more test subjects alive?" Raha replied, "No, he is the only one." The emperor spoke, "Raise your head, so that is your type. Well, since I was the one who gave him to you, of course he would be your type. Still, you are so lovely to convince. Return to the banquet after you put on your outfit. The balance does not have a matriarch, so you have to protect that position. I have to borrow your slave for a short while to clean up the corpse." Raha said, "Go." Number 192. The emperor said, "You don't even call your sex slave by name." Raha replied, "He said that was his name." The emperor continued, "You are quite naive. Then bring out the corpse." Number 192. Seed replied, "Yes." The emperor stated, "How dare a slave walk on their 2 feet in front of the emperor, lie flat on the ground and crawl? I will be leaving first. See you at the banquet hall." After that, Raha whispered, "Seed, you." Suddenly, Seed said something. Raha asked, "What did you just say?" Next scene, Raha thought, "Is Karzan not here yet? Why are they taking the corpse? I can't make a hasty move since he put someone to watch over me. And besides, I can't believe he whispered that to me. He said each and every one of it. What in the world is he thinking? Now it feels like a real banquet. They are disgusted by the sight of alcohol, but there is wine in the chocolate. Right, it was somewhere around there, where the Margrave's head was hung." The Margrave said the one who should truly ascend the throne is the princess. The tradition of the empire, preserved for all these years, cannot be shattered so easily. The emperor, whom we do not accept, should also have the successor's eyes. What is this? The emperor stated, "Let's see, where is my sword?" The next moment, the Margrave was dead. The emperor said, "My hands are too sore. If you don't rub some ointment on them, I won't be able to use my sword for a while." She thought. This was when the emperor began to trample surrounding countries to gain military power, while the nobles bowed down flat and watched as he slowly distanced himself with pleasure and alcohol, and I became locked in a perfect birdcage. Next scene, Raha spoke, "Don't stand up. I called the palace physician, so stay here for some time. Does it hurt a lot?" Seed replied, "It is bearable, Your Highness." Raha told him, "Never speak to me formally again. Speak informally. They said you went all the way to the Silver Cross Road." She thought, "It takes over 30 minutes just to walk there, and worse if he crawled." She said, "Bear it, even if it hurts." Seed asked, "Where did you learn to pour alcohol on a wound?" Raha replied, "When I had an emergency." Seed asked, "Did you use it on yourself?" Raha replied, "I am sorry, to be honest. I did not expect this to happen to you, so I am quite confused." Seed said, "So, do you remember what I told you? When you return to the banquet hall, look at each and every one of them, the countless marks I have left on your body, and the lingering heat in the deepest parts of you, where I have done my things. If you don't do that, I told you I would punish you. Judging by your expression, it looks like you won't be receiving a reward." Raha asked, "Wait, what is this?" Seed replied, "Do you really think your punishment would be mere child's play? Now focus on where my lips are touching, where my hands are moving, and what we are doing in this passageway." Raha thought, To be honest, if you had not uttered such absurd words back then, I would have been consumed by guilt for not being able to stop Karzan. But isn't this too obvious, your blatant trick to cover up even the nightmares that have piled on me in this place? The maid asked, Your Highness, the palace physician is here, what should I do? Raha was having difficulty answering. The maid again asked, Princess, Raha replied, Send the physician away. The maid asked, Princess, are you really all right? Raha replied, Yes, I will call for her later. After some time, Raha spoke, I won't forgive you, Seed replied, Don't forgive me, you don't have to forgive me. Then late at night, Seed thought, Do you realize that I am just your slave, as if you were trying to compensate for the hardship I endured? You still make that expression, even when I push you to your limits, when you have actually been trapped in a terrible rumor for so long, what in the world do I do with you? The next morning, Oliver came and spoke, I am here at Her Highness's order, have you been well? I am the princess's personal physician. Seed thought, a kid like this is a palace physician, one should at least be middle-aged to hold such a position, and even more so when it is the position of imperial palace physician. Oliver said, It is quite a facility, this is almost the first time I have seen a living concubine, Seed replied, It is an honor. He thought, looks like there were barely any living slaves so far. Oliver continued, By the way, I heard your knees are not in good condition, could you lift your pants? No, could you just take off your clothes? Seed replied, Yes, sure. Oliver spoke, Luckily, it seems your bones and cartilages are fine, but don't use your knees too much every day, and be sure to take your medication regularly. Aside from that, you seem to have a lot of scars all over your body, since most of them are long-term blade injuries, I can't do much. And the branding magic around your heart is unable to exert its full power in your body, so unlike the other concubines, you seem fine. Seed thought, but there shouldn't be much difference between me and the other test subjects, is this the effect of drinking that blood? Oliver asked, What kind of tea do you like? I think Her Highness would want me to check the state of your body and make conversation as well. Would you like a glass? If you don't like tea, is there a liquor you would prefer? Seed replied, I don't really like those either, so you can just leave. Oliver asked, Then what do you like? I would like you to tell me comfortably, as a physician of the imperial palace, the mental health of someone the princess cares for is important to me. Seed replied, Are you only looking after my mental health? What about the other person you should especially look after? I heard you were an official sage student, but you gave up on that to become the princess's physician. Are you currently fulfilling that duty well? Oliver replied, Sages are a noble group of the empire who provide wisdom to His Majesty the Emperor. I am no longer involved with them, and Her Highness won't allow me to treat her. All I can do is tend to her minor injuries and check her vitals, so stop being so rough on her. I am sure you know what I mean. Her Highness will be held captive at the banquet late again today, so how could you be so inconsiderate as to keep doing that to her every night? I shall get going. Seed grabbed the physician. Oliver asked, Why are you doing this? I don't think I said anything wrong. Seed replied, Do you know about the issues within this imperial palace? On the other hand, Jamella's father spoke, We have finally received an invitation from the imperial palace. It looks like His Majesty is going hunting. He only invited the two of us as guests. Jamella asked, Then is Her Highness joining us? Father replied, I am not certain, but I don't think so. Jamella spoke, I am looking forward to it. Next scene. The Emperor asked, You have not been visiting my office lately. I was feeling a bit disappointed. You know well that having you close by allows me to focus on my duties with more ease. Raha replied, I know, I should have been more considerate, I apologize, but is that a marriage proposal? Have you chosen Lady Jamella as your betrothed? The Emperor asked, She turned out to be a better woman than I expected, what do you think? Raha replied, I agree. She seems like someone who can support you well. It is time to go and take the silver dove soon. The Emperor must catch the silver dove himself and present it as a gift while proposing. The Emperor spoke, Right, I had forgotten. Should I give you a silver dove as well? Raha replied, I don't like birds. The Emperor commented, Sure, once we are on the topic, it would be great if you could join the hunting event this afternoon. I have invited our future family to that event. Next scene. Raha spoke, The weather is nice today. Jamella replied, Yes, Your Highness, it seems like a perfect day for hunting. Raha told her, We are about to become family, so please speak comfortably. Jamella commented, That is a very gracious statement. Suddenly, the Emperor asked, What do you think? Do you like it? Raha replied, unfortunately, it is not my taste. The emperor said, of course, you were never satisfied unless it was a huge beast. Raha thought, well, I hope that beast would bite off your head. Still, it is pretty cute. If we keep it in the courtyard, it seems like Seed would not be as bored. If I tease him by saying he resembles this small and cute one, he would probably. Next moment, the emperor killed it. Jamila and her father were shocked. The emperor stated, thinking about it, I think it would be better to wrap your neck warmly with its fur. How about now, do you like it? On the other hand, Seed spoke, I don't like it, it is beautiful. But in this space, where it was just that, it was slowly becoming desolate. The count came and spoke, I did not mean to interrupt your thoughts, I am Paltra, the count of the imperial palace, managing the patronage of Her Highness the Princess. It seems you are waiting for Her Highness. Whenever I tend to this place, I often have the same thoughts as you. Still, on one hand, isn't it quite admirable? Amidst this harsh winter, it is pitiable yet beautiful, revealing its beauty so desperately, hoping someone might recognize it. Back at the emperor's side, Raha replied, I don't like it, all my dresses were thrown away because of this silver fox. The emperor replied, oh dear, don't be upset, although in my eyes, you still look just as lovely this way. Raha spoke, I will be back after changing my dress. The emperor continued, no, you don't have to do that, Duke Winston, don't leave just yet, let's have dinner together, and Lady Jamila too. Jamila replied, it would be an honor, Your Majesty. Will Her Majesty be joining us for dinner as well? Since we will be family soon, I would like to spend more time with her if possible. The emperor asked, what do you think? Raha replied, if Your Majesty allows it, I will join the dinner. However, this kind of outfit might ruin everyone's appetite. Wouldn't it be better for me to change clothes? The emperor commented, all right, I will allow it. Next scene. Seed spoke, you seem more tired than usual. Did something bother you? Raha replied, you are saying something pointless again. Why? Did Oliver say you should pay more attention to me? Seed told her, that kid said she did not want to care for you, so I told her to stop acting that way. Raha emphasized, well, I think Oliver is doing a decent job so far. Those who pay attention to me either get hurt or meet disaster. It's always been like that, so when I got slapped by my mother, I would hug my doll to fall asleep. I thought the warmth from that little doll was enough. So I am not pretending to be nice, nor am I asking for sympathy. I am only saying I don't want to receive attention or have people that care about me. I already have enough things around me that tire me out and overwhelm me. Seed remembered Oliver telling him, there are countless eyes in the imperial palace, more than you could ever imagine. Within all that surveillance, Her Highness is trying to protect me by drawing the line. It is not for her sake, but for mine. Then he remembered the count said, there will soon be an occasion when His Majesty will be absent often. During that time, would it be too greedy for this old man to hope for a bit more warmth in this place? The next memory he thought of was the high priest telling him, keep in mind that you must not do anything that might bring attention toward you during your time in the imperial palace. Seed spoke, when the time comes for the emperor to be away from his position, could you grant me freedom then? Raha asked, what are you saying? Seed replied, I want to explore it with you at least once. The inside of this endlessly absurd palace. Raha thought, will he execute his plan properly while Karzan is away? I kept thinking about it. His name was Harsel, an ardent devotee who was from the Holy Nation, the physician before Oliver. He was the one who took so much blood from me during treatments or diagnoses that it was fatal. The day he hurriedly gave up his position with the excuse of family issues, I could guess what was going on. I guess you don't need my blood anymore. Did the experiment fail, or have they moved on to the next phase of progress, for instance, requiring a different type of body fluid that is not blood? Whatever it is, that is likely where you come into the project, but I didn't expect him to bring it up this way. Asterisk. Raha spoke, all right, when that time comes, I will give you freedom. Raha thought, how did it suddenly get to this? It is true that we got caught up in the moment, but I did not expect to be the only one being pleasured, especially when it is clear that he is just as aroused as I am. Then she said, that is enough, let's stop this, or let's just go to the bed. Seed replied, no, the imperial physician told me not to disturb you at night. I am doing my best to serve you as your slave. I am so happy, enough to make me wonder if something is wrong with my head. Seed continued, aren't you cold? You must have cooled down a lot. Raha replied, I'm not cold at all, thanks to you. She thought, but is it okay to leave him like that? I think it's even bigger than before, she said. Let's go to the bedroom. Seed told her, it's time for you to get some sleep. Next morning, the emperor spoke, some gifts will be arriving at the palace. Feel free to take anything you like. The Marquis Duke and Duke Esther will arrive at that time. Raha replied, all right, do I need to receive them as guests? The emperor told her, no need, just engage in some conversation with them, then I will be back. Everyone should be able to receive this much blessing from their relatives. Raha asked, would you like more than that? The emperor commented, I wish I could, but I would not be able to start my journey then. Make sure to stay calm while I am away, and remember, you will always be within my sight, no matter where you are. Raha replied, yes, come back safely. I hope you bring back a fine catch for your fiancé. After that, the captain spoke, Your Highness, allow me to escort you back. Raha thought, so he left the captain of the Imperial Guards behind. It's not a surprise, ever since the head chamberlain's sudden passing, he still hasn't filled that vacant spot. Several families sent in applications to fill it, but Curzon did not seem to show much of a reaction. Maybe the more his system falls into disarray, the greater the chance for an unexpected opportunity to arise. That's right, an opportunity. Asterisk. After some time, Raha spoke, wear it, it's time to work around the palace. After that, Seed dressed up. Raha asked, where would you like to go? He thought, if I ask her why she seems so happy, almost like a child, will that smile disappear? Seed replied, of course, wherever you'd like to show. Raha told him, all right, let's go. After some time, Raha spoke, that building over there is the emperor's palace. If you go inside, there is a room reserved for priests visiting from the holy nation. Then she visited all the places. Raha asked, how are your knees? Seed replied, they are fine now. Raha continued, I heard from Oliver that your recovery rate is almost superhuman. Is that also a result of the experiment? Have you always healed quickly? Seed replied, it is not the result of experimentation, and yes, I heal quickly. Raha told him, how fascinating. Seed spoke, if someone sees us, then, Raha replied, no one is watching. They do say the darkest shadow is cast at the foot of the candle. Then they started making love. Seed asked, where are we? Raha replied, a resting place for the forest ranger who manages the hunting ground. It is usually empty. Seed commented, no wonder you seemed more impetuous than usual. Raha told him, that's because I've wanted to do this since earlier. I'm not the only one who wants this. Am I? Seed stated, I want it too. Maybe even more than you do. Then things got heated. On the other hand, the emperor spoke, the Western Morpho Principality, you say, it was subjugated a few years ago. The high priest replied, Your Majesty, may I ask why you are curious about his personal affairs? The emperor replied, he is the only one currently alive. His name and age are unknown, but he was a knight, or seemed like one. My twin seems to like that lowly thing nowadays, and I would like to get her a few more similar ones. A doll that is treasured so much could end up ripped and ruined in an instant. Come with me to Dello Palace, as I am about to appoint a new head chamberlain. I think you should give them your blessings in person, and say your greetings to Raha for the first time in a while. By the way, I heard she had a question for you the other day, but you could not answer it. What was the question? When I asked, what was the question? The high priest replied, Raha's question asked what if someone were to try to harm the two of you, and what their reason could be. Those were her questions. The emperor said, I see, my twin is quite the presumptuous type. Do excuse her, I would like to have some tea, but there is no time. Make preparations for my return as soon as possible. The high priest thought, Raha told me, if the emperor asks, respond with what I have instructed. That will be my reply as well. My twin is quite the suspicious type. He thought, please, you must stay safe. Next scene. The maids chatted. I heard His Majesty brought the high priest into the palace. Has the high priest ever participated in the appointment ceremony of the head chamberlains? Of course not. It's no different from him being dragged here out of fear for his life. I've also heard the rumors about him placing branding magic on the sex slave. It has spread far and wide outside the palace. They must know that the slaves ended up like that because of that magic. On the other hand, the emperor said, I heard you were going around with that lowly sex slave. Raha replied, I had quite a bit of fun playing with my doll. She thought, if I had kept him hidden like a cherished possession, it might have bothered you, so I carried him around. treating him like a good ornament. The emperor asked, "Where is he now?" Raha replied, "The priest seemed eager to see him for the first time after so long, so I sent him to the temple for a while." The emperor stated, "If you get tired of him, make sure to tell me. I will start a war immediately and get you a new sex slave." Raha replied, "You just returned today, and you're leaving already, don't go." The emperor told her, "You act like a child sometimes, this is why I do not like the idea of freedom. When people are idle, they begin to forget their duties." Scene change. The high priest told him, "It is a good thing the princess is treating you well. You look healthy. You have to continue to stay safe, don't get hurt, then that is fine. That is all that is needed." 2 days later, the emperor and Jamila were at the ceremony. Lady Whisper said, "Your Highness, you have to prepare for the play." Raha replied, "Make sure to prepare my sex slave as well. It would be best if you could adorn him with a blue ornament that suits his eyes." After that, the maids started chatting. "Try to find something that matches the princess's dress. How about this? I'm not sure if it will fit since he has a bigger build." One of them said, "I think we need more blue gemstones. This will keep on happening from time to time, but we don't have any decent blue gemstones. Besides, they're all feminine ornaments." Raha came and stated, "If you are going to call for someone, why not invite a craftsman from the Panad kingdom? The kingdom produces blue gemstones. To make the best jewels for my slave, you should at least call someone from that kingdom. You are doing a good job. Do continue to provide material support for my slave, but do not take too much interest in him. That means I don't want another woman sticking to my bedroom slave." The maid replied, "Okay, Your Highness." Next scene. Lady Camilla said, "I shall let you have your conversation in peace." Raha thought, "She is quick to read the room, not that it matters, I didn't want to be alone with Karzan anyway." The emperor said, "So you brought the slave to the banquet. This is not exactly a suitable place for him, so the nobles seem to be watching closely." Raha replied, "Really, there are a lot of nobles who brought maids and mistresses, though. Besides, he is a slave gifted to me by your benevolent majesty, and I am the empire's direct princess." The emperor spoke, "You are right, they're different from us. Thinking about it now, it is not so bad to show them how the murder weapon, diligently raised by the high-browed holy nation, has been reduced to a mere bedroom slave." After some time, Raha said, "It's only been used a few times, but the scar is almost gone." The Marquis Duke asked in passing, if you would like to join the martial arts tournament. Seed asked, "What is a martial arts tournament?" Raha explained, "It is considered one of the most important New Year events at the Imperial Palace. It's well known for having knights from around the world participating. I did think it would suit you, but are you really that strong?" Seed replied, "I am strong enough to some extent." Raha continued, "This spot seems fine, so I'll focus on rubbing it on a different spot." Seed told her, "It would be a waste of time to rub the balm on the other scars since they are old." Raha asked, "How did you get this scar?" Seed replied, "When my uncle passed away," and told her the whole story. Raha said, "I suppose you've lived with some odd family members too. Everyone has to deal with that in some way. Do you have something to say?" Seed replied, "You're right, not really. What about you?" Raha commented, "Nothing in particular. It would be nice to just stay like this for now, but let me know if you ever feel like doing anything. By the way, so this is what it feels like to be a tyrant, so enchanted by his beautiful concubine that he grants her every wish. You remind me of a wife trying to sweet-talk her husband into doing what she wants." Seed thought, "Sometimes, you really seem to say strange things with such a nonchalant face. Either it's because she is desperate to see the other person get angry, or to reassure herself that she's not the only one living in hell." Then he remembered the high priest telling him, "It seems the Delo Empire will invade the holy nation soon. It's a game of chance, but like I told you before, you have to bear in mind that you could be taken away as a sex slave, so please be cautious. While you're in the palace, avoid doing anything that will attract unnecessary attention. When the right time comes, we will send you a signal." Seed replied, "It's fine, this is the path I chose. In the end, that is why I need your help, High Priest." Seed thought, "When that time comes, will you be able to escape this cage?" The emperor asked, "Did you enjoy last night's banquet?" Lady Jamila replied, "Yes. I heard a lot about the martial arts tournament at the banquet hall. Are you going to oversee it yourself, Your Majesty?" The emperor spoke, "Of course I have to. As a price for trampling on the holy nation, I need to appear as a peaceful monarch for a while." Jamela told him, then why not launch this tournament on a grand scale? If you recruit knights from border nations, I think it would be a good chance to boost the prestige of the empire. She remembered Raha telling her, Karzan will like it if you say it that way, words spoken with the stability of the empire in mind. The emperor replied, all right, that seems good too, then what would make for an appropriate reward? Jamela said, following an old tradition could be a good method. During the late emperor's reign, I heard injured participants were granted empty fiefs as rewards. A meaningful land that is far from the capital, undeveloped and barren for now, but full of potential to thrive with effort. The emperor spoke, that would make Giselle an estate suitable. It would be nice to have you help Raha while we prepare for the event, since you seem a lot more helpful than I expected. Jamela asked, Your Majesty, why did you choose me? The emperor asked, why do you ask? Jamela continued, I have always been curious, why would you choose me among the numerous young ladies? The emperor told her, why bother yourself with such complicated thoughts? My marriage is only a transaction, after all, and Duke Winston happened to present the most interesting young lady. So I decided to purchase that. Your dress is very pretty today, wear something like this more often. On the other hand, Seed thought, do the maids usually leave at a time like this? Police came in and said, I am a jewelry craftsman. I received a request from Her Highness and only brought the finest quality of jewels with me. I'm not sure if you will like any, but please look at this diamond. Seed thought, Holy Nation, he asked, what is this? Police continued, I'm glad to see you healthy. I am a priest helping with the Holy Nation experiment. No one here knows my identity, so you don't have to worry. There is a maid serving Her Highness who is also from the Holy Nation. I heard about this from her. I was looking for a chance to enter the imperial palace, and the princess happened to request a jeweler just in time. What a wonderful coincidence. Seed thought, coincidence? Could all of this really be just a coincidence? Then he asked, why did you come all the way here? The high priest imbued all of his holy power in me when we met. Are you here for the same purpose? Police replied, that is true. I'm here to deliver a message to you from the high priest. He made this decision after the appointment ceremony of the head chamberlain ended, and he returned to the Holy Nation. He said the time has finally come, so from now on, please keep this on your wrist at all times. Seed asked, what is this? Police told him, this is a sexual union gauging device. Seed asked, what? I must have heard you wrong. Police spoke, Your Highness. I hope you can listen to my words without misunderstanding. To be honest, the time you spent with the princess was all part of the high priest's plan. Seed asked, are you crazy? What nonsense are you spouting? Police replied, I'm really sorry, but I could not tell you beforehand. The Holy Nation did not want you to feel guilty. Police thought, the high priest said, tell him the purpose of the mating measurement device, so that we can estimate when His Highness will depart based on the measured amount. But you don't need to tell him that we've been using the princess's blood for our experiments. Keep that a secret, including the fact that Her Highness foresaw all of this, and that we were summoned to the imperial palace. Police said, I have no excuses. Seed said, you are all out of your minds. He thought, the fact that this was all part of the experiment, kissing, holding hands, burying our heads together, and sharing each other's warmth, all of the things we did. Police said, please don't forget the resolution we had that brought us to this point. Once the measuring gauge is filled, it won't take too long before you can leave this place. You just need to act like you know nothing until then. We will be the ones to deal with the consequences, so please, just stay healthy until then, Your Highness. Next scene. Raha asked, has the jewel craftsman left? The maid replied, yes, Your Highness, we decided to order 22 jewels. Raha said, that is fewer than I expected. Did my slave not like them? The maid replied, he does not seem like the type to show his likes and dislikes so easily. Raha told her, then call for him a few more times from now on. She thought, since Karzan won't be inviting the Holy Nation priest for a while. The maid replied, yes, Your Highness. Raha continued, by the way, it's snowing outside, should I go take a look? After some time, Raha came and said, so, you are here. Seed replied, your clothes are too light today as well. Raha commented, you can just hold me in your arms then, it's snowing beautifully. I don't like winter, but it's not so bad to watch it snow like this sometimes, Seed said, and it's New Year. Raha asked, are you from the Western Territory? Seed replied, how did you know? Raha said, The West has a tradition of watching it snow on New Year's Eve for a long time, something about receiving luck, wasn't it? That's why I heard the Western Territory's New Year banquet is the shortest, because people hurry to their houses to idly watch the snow fall from their windows. Seed said, "Honestly, I didn't know it was going to snow. It's not New Year's Eve, so I was just waiting for you." Raha asked, "Really, would you have waited forever? What if I hadn't come?" Seed replied, "Does that matter? It's not like I'm waiting on the battlefield." Raha teased, "Bringing up the battlefield at a time like this, anyone can tell he's a knight." Now Seed thought, "Whatever you heard today, no matter what it was, please don't stop, so that I can also willingly fall into this trap." Like this video, hit the like button, and subscribe for more videos.